Keep it on the level. I'm climbing up the ladder while you in need of a shovel. I can do this all day, I can do this all night.
What's up, AWA? How are you guys? I'm Steve Tan. Hello, everyone. I'm Evan Tan. How is everyone today? How is everyone today? Okay, all right. So this is my first time to Bangkok. I'm very excited and honored to be here and to share how we scale our $2 million store. So we have a little bit of time, so I want to jump straight into a short about us, about me and Evan, and how we got started into this journey. Okay? So we're not public speakers, so actually I'm very nervous right now with my brother. So please, give us some support if we say some things. Okay? Thank you so much. All right? So I started my journey doing physical products since 2006 from eBay. The reason being why I've been selling physical products is because I've been based in China for the past 11 years. So having access to Taobao, Alibaba makes it much easier for me to get into physical products. So since then, I've been selling more than multiple 8 figures of physical products until now, all right? So, and we have been selling it since 2006 on eBay and transitioned over to fully e-commerce on 2008. Okay, so since then, I've been sharing a lot of our posts in my e-commerce elites group. If you guys are interested, feel free to join it. It's a free group on Facebook. And you can just go to stevetan.com. It will redirect to our Facebook group, okay? So some of the records that we have done personally is about 2 million. This is back in April. So we have break this record, but we have no time to update this screenshot. So we did about 3 million plus back in October for one of our big stores too. And this is our biggest day in one single store, 360K. But there's several more smaller stores which we are doing right now to diversify not everything in one store, okay? So today I'm gonna share a little bit more on how we scale horizontally and what we mean by scaling vertically, okay? So scaling horizontally. So a lot of people have been asking me some questions regarding why are you able to scale one store to such big numbers. So there's actually a few ways that we can do. So we combine a few of this together so that we can achieve bigger numbers, okay? So you can either have one big product, which a lot of e-commerce players are doing right now, or you could have 52K products. What I mean that you should actually diversify more instead of focusing everything on just one product. So when someone comes to me and tell me, Steve, I'm doing 50K per day, I'm doing big numbers, I say, good, how many products do you have? If he said, I only have one product, the first thing I'll tell them is, you do not have a business. Because what if the product dies down, dies the natural product trend, you do not have a business the next day. So for me personally, of course, we like to have a lot of first-tier products, but we also have a lot of second-tier, like 2K products. We also have a lot of 1K products, which I'll say more in the third tier, okay? So you need to have a lot of products in order to diversify your risk, right? And to have so much products, you need to have a system in place, okay? If you do not have a system in place, like researching methods for your team, this is very hard for you to scale efficiently, okay? So Evan will touch base on how we do research and a few of the common sites and the common tools that we're gonna use, okay? So also, when you find one single product that you can do, you're gonna scale it hard, okay? Because if you do not scale it fast enough, everyone is gonna, this market is very transparent. So everyone's gonna, use the same ad copy, use the same product. Everyone has access to AliExpress. So that is why you need to learn how to scale efficiently on Facebook, all right? We're gonna go through on the best practices that we use, what kind of ad copies, when to cut and scale your ads later on, and retargeting, and lookalike audiences as well. All right, and also the differences between auto and manual bids and why we prefer the other over the other one. All right, so are you guys ready? All right, awesome. Evan?
All right. Okay, so first thing, just now, as Steve has said, how do we actually scale horizontally, okay? So in order to really look for a lot of products out there in the market, you actually need to really go deep. Okay, so we really have to go through the usual few. A lot of people, when they always ask me, hey, Steve and Evan, how do you look for the few products? They always talk about the few usual few. Instead, me and Steve, we actually have our secret weapon. And also, at the end of everything, we actually create a process so that all this process is automated. All right? So the first view, all right, the usual view as everyone, where do I go search for products? It's always, people go to the top sellers in Amazon, be it, AliExpress or Wish. All these are the very, very common websites where people just go, look for the top sellers and go through the categories. This is the most common one where you can actually go. Yes, it still works, but considering the market is getting more and more competitive and the products are getting more and more saturated, it's actually harder to find a product there nowadays. All right? So we actually do, me and Steve, being in China for such a long period of time, we actually have our own secret weapon, and that is actually Taobao. All right? Okay, some of you guys, if you have been in China or actually have been shopping online a lot, probably would have heard of Taobao before. Okay? So there's actually a saying, if you can't find something on Taobao, you probably can't find it anywhere else. Actually, the person who said this is me, myself. Okay? So actually, why I actually say this is because, being in China for so many years, I actually buy a lot of stuff on Taobao. Okay? So a lot of the things you can find on Taobao, you actually don't see it on Amazon.com. All right? So the ridiculous things is you can find ridiculous things on Taobao.com. Look at what you can find on Taobao. You can even buy worms, They even have a money-back guarantee to buy worms, living cockroaches. You can buy all sorts of things. Of course, I'm not saying you are selling cockroaches to, e-commerce, right? But there's tons of categories out there in Taobao. A lot of the things that's not being developed yet in the United States, you can find it in Taobao. All right? So for a quick run through of the research process, have your staff or go through Taobao yourself. If you can't read Chinese, just translate it, go through all of it, and I'm sure you find real killer products where you can actually find a lot of products that are going to sell really well in e-commerce. All right, so as you can see the picture right here, there's tons and tons of actually categories where you can find. All right, so at the end of it, by creating a team, we create a process. All right, what are the wow factors of these products? You ask yourself, if you are the customer, why is this product a wow? Does it have actually a wow factor? Okay, try selling and persuading yourself before, So after you know all of these factors, create an Excel sheet for your staff, your research team. Let them go through Taobao for you because it's very, very time-consuming to actually go through all this every day. So at the end of it, vet it personally, go through the Excel sheet of what your staff has done, and actually go through, and sooner or later, you'll be able to find a lot of really good first-tier products, second-tier products, and third-tier products. So this is how me and Steve, we are able to build our e-commerce as a real business. It's not just one product where we scale really hard, and maybe 1 month later, we are closed for business. That's not how e-commerce works. So by setting a process out properly, you are able to sustain this e-commerce business for a long period of time. All right, so right now, let Steve talk about how to scale vertically with Facebook ads.
Okay, so I'm going to share a little bit of our best practices and some of the things that we're going to go through here, right? So the first thing is we use a lot of emojis. I'm sure a lot of you here are familiar with this, but we try not to overdo it in a way that it becomes spammy, but do it more in a natural way because we find it increases the click-through rate a lot. Of course, when all of you guys start using it, the performance might decrease, so try to be a little bit creative, with different kind of upcoming holidays, Christmas, so on and so forth, all right? It really works. It really helps us build up on our click-through rates, okay? So here are some quick examples. I'm sure you guys see a lot of them on Facebook or some spy tools. Check it out, see how people are doing it, how all those good ads are doing, and how they are maintaining, scaling really, really huge video views or, conversions, okay? So we also use customized thumbnails for all our videos, all right? You shouldn't just go and upload a video and just pull a random, thumbnail that you think is gonna work well. Always try to split test what kind of thumbnails would actually increase your click-through rates. So for us, we usually have 5 to 6 different thumbnails per video so that we can keep testing and split testing which ones have the best optimal conversions or click-through rates or CPAs, so on and so forth, okay? Because not everyone autoplays, and it captures the attention with a unique thumbnail. You can add in different kind of wordings
with your thumbnail, or you can add in some emojis. I'm sure a lot of viral videos, the funny ones that you see on YouTube, or the ones that you see on Facebook usually do have very customized video thumbnails, okay? So, eye-catching video. Always make sure you can have, like, you can put in some taglines, like tag someone who needs this, you know, tag turn on the sound, or you would love this, okay? So someone, usually last time before we start using this, we use it a lot on the ad copy. But we find it more, you know, it performs way better if we put it inside the thumbnail itself, whereby people, you know, when they see the ad, they don't even have to read your ad copy, because nowadays people just skim through all the ads, kind of becoming blind to it in a way. So you want to make sure you put in a lot of effort into making sure that people sees it in the first split second, okay? All right, so now we are in Q4, right? CPMs are outrageous high. So you have to make sure you have very good click-through rates, good engagement. So usually we'll run a little bit of PPE ads, page post engagement, to kind of get a feel to how this ad is actually performing or engaging with the crowd or the viewers, right? So make sure, you know, you have all this like emojis, customized thumbnails to make sure that you have better click-through rates, and it will reduce your CPM a little bit, or it will make sure that you can actually scale bigger with more clicks, okay? So we're also gonna touch base on how we do retargeting, okay? So we do a lot of VC, initial checkout, but no purchase, okay? And also, we do a lot of customized posts to re-engage our customers. I'm sure a lot of you here know what's retargeting, but we do pretty much every single option that's available on Facebook for making sure that we can reach all our custom audience, okay? Last time, we avoid a lot of initial checkout because we thought, since we're already doing add to cart, right, why should we do initial checkout? So, and it actually surprised us, one of our best performing ad sets actually come from initial checkout, okay? So you make sure you segment your audience properly so that you can create a lot of retargeting and use for lookalike audiences as well. Okay, so we use a lot of lookalike audiences, which kind of accounts for pretty much 50 to 60% of all our sales. Okay, so if you're talking about our sales, it's at least, I would say at least 7 figures coming from lookalike audiences itself. The only downside to lookalike audiences is sometimes it might be a little bit cranky, it might not have delivery, but if you contact Facebook, they'll tell you, okay, it's you know, overlap or something. But just, I kind of felt, you know, if you leave it there for a few days, sometimes it will just re-optimize itself and give you delivery. But if you don't get any delivery, just delete that ad set or that campaign and recreate it again, okay? All right, so lifetime value, this is something that's pretty much added just a few months ago, and this actually works a lot of wonders for us. So you can basically export everything from Shopify or some way your email list that has all this value and put it up. So basically what it does is it combines all the information of your top-end customers. So Facebook will automatically find all the best high-value customers for you based on your ROAS and based on the order value, okay? So, all right. We also do a lot of, we do everything above 50%. I haven't tried anything below 50 because like if someone is not interested in watching finish your video, most probably they're not interested in buying your product as well. So do test everything above 50% all the way to 95% for your lookalike audiences as well. We also target top-tier countries like US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, but usually we'll try to group them as well so we can segment them by APAC, EEA, ASEAN, and NAFTA. All right? And lookalike audiences. There's a few ways to do this. You know, 1 to 10%. I have never gone above 10% with some special tools, but I think 10% is pretty much the max you can do, okay? So usually, there's a few ways that I do this. Either I do 1% to 2%, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, or sometimes I'll just segment them to 0 to 5, 5 to 10. Or you can just play around with it. The best one I have is actually around 3 to 5%, okay? Not necessarily that your 5% is going to outdo your 10%, okay? It doesn't mean that 1%, 0 to 1% is always the best performing one. It doesn't work like this, okay? So you have to make sure you test. Sometimes, you know, you get way better results with 8 to 10%. Sometimes you get better results at 3%. There's no guarantee, all right? I wish I could tell you 1% works the best, but, you know, the matter of truth is Facebook doesn't work that way, all right? We use auto bid 70% of all our campaigns, okay? Because it's very time-saving to use auto bid. If you're using some manual bids, unless you're using some tools like Smartly or some other tools, it will usually take you a lot of time to optimize your manual campaigns. So we only use it for 20 to 30% of all our ads, okay? Because if you find a killer product, we will usually create a very, very big manual campaign, usually in the range of 50,000 to 25,000 per ad set. That is how we scale with manual bidding. But if you're doing so, sometimes when my friends ask me, are you doing a lot of manual bidding? And ask, what's your budget? If you're spending less than like 100, 200 or a few hundred per day on that ad set, I wouldn't suggest even trying out manual bidding because like it doesn't work very effectively, okay? There's no fixed way, but we only use auto bids for testing products. I wouldn't even use manual bidding for testing new products because it's so time consuming and we test so many different products day in and day out, okay? No fixed way of testing, so be flexible and be creative in testing, similar to how you guys do CPA. You know, a lot of, you know, I kind of felt that you guys are way ahead of the curve with CPA. That is why a lot of my friends who's like doing very well in e-commerce usually have a very strong background in CPA. So you guys are actually crushing it a lot because with all the experience, with all the creativity that you guys do, you guys can crush it easily, and you have way more advantage than normal marketers, you know, so be creative in your testing. All right, so we also do, this is the initial way we do testing. It's very common. It's one campaign per country, 20 ad sets usually per new product. We split it by interest, okay? Usually 500K and above audience size. This is how we do our testing. If you have a big group of custom audience, you can use that for testing as well. And we do one-day click, all right? Okay, so for auto bid, I'm running out of time, so I have to be fast here, okay? So this is all the information here. We usually scale when it has at least 2 to 3x ROI, because once you start scaling, your CPA is going to go up, your ROI is going to go down, right? So make sure you have at least good ROAS before you start scaling, because if you don't, you're going to see like once you have 2x, 3x, once you scale, probably you will go down in negative, all right? Okay, so scale with auto and duplicate manual. If you have very good performing auto campaigns, auto ad sets, duplicate it and do manual, and you can actually scale pretty quickly with big budgets. But make sure you have very good ROAS before you consider duplicating it to do manual. Okay, all right, so when to cut, okay, I'll just display everything, okay? So do not optimize your ads like on day 1 or day 2. Try to at least give it at least 3 to 7 days. If you don't give it enough time, you can cut your ads, most likely you're gonna see very inconsistent results. So we usually have 2, 3 screens, big screens. If you guys are doing this as a full-time job, make sure you have big monitors whereby you can split the screens. You can have 3 days here, 7 days here, and compare the metrics easily, okay? Don't start optimizing your ads like, you know, just one day and you see good results or you see bad results, you start killing the budget, turning off the ad set. It doesn't work that way, all right? Give it a little bit more time. Now we stick at least 7 days. Even if we are in the red, negative ROI, we're still gonna give it a little bit more time in testing, okay? Facebook recommends 2 weeks, but I think it's kind of too long, so I'll stick to 7 days. All right, we also use a lot of Facebook rules. We don't use the paid media buy tools like Smartly because I feel it's kind of a little bit expensive for us, so we felt it's more efficient if I hire a little bit more manpower for our media buyers, okay? So we use a lot of Facebook automation tools, which I think some of the speakers has already touched based on, okay? So it automates a lot of things while you're away. Like even if we're on events or away on holidays, it does a lot of work. It's very straightforward. You can adjust your cost per purchase. You can also adjust like a lot of things like increase the budget by 20% per day. Well, if it's performing. If not, you know, you can turn it off, okay? All right, so that's all that I'm gonna share. All right, I hope you guys, you know, due to time constraints, I cannot expand all my information on how we deal with our company operations, how we do our full thing research. You know, usually we'll have different kind of operations for our entire different company structure, okay? So I hope you guys can scale to the moon, and I'll see you guys up there. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys. That was
Hey, Eric.
fantastic. Are you ready for a few questions?
Yeah, sure. Again.
You got the Tan brothers on stage, so come on up to the microphones here. We got some nice chairs. You guys sit over there.
All right.
I'll sit over here. So they just said, they're like, we normally like to talk about all these other things, but we don't have time. But now there's time, so now you can ask them any of these type questions. But while we get there, I just want to know, what's your personal favorite emoji?
I think my personal favorite emoji is probably the heart eyes, you know, the eyes.
I saw that in there, yeah.
That's the one that probably resonates with the customer the most.
The most emotional, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's that happy love feeling.
Yeah, and of course for Christmas, you know, you have the Christmas trees. So before the customer even looks at the product, the video itself, he knows this is related to Christmas.
Yeah.
So it will enable like the customer to stop and actually look at the ad copy itself.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got one?
I think we kind of split test a few, but for me, I don't have personal favorite. I only care if it's ROI.
Yeah.
So you know, if it's good ROI, it's my personal favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I got to use in an email the other day the T-bone steak for the first time. I was describing James Van Elswyk, so I I just put the T-bone steak in there. I was happy about that. I don't know if it worked, but it was fun. Okay, we got a question here.
Hello guys, it was really nice presentation, very informative. I'd like to ask you about scare or shit your pants marketing. How often do you use it to sell products to your audience? Do you scare them or you make them feel better before they come to your webpage, before they make decision to buy it?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I can't hear.
Yeah, we need to get better monitors.
How
up here.
often do you use scare or shit your pants marketing?
Oh, like fear-based marketing versus love-based marketing.
You mean
I guess.
scarcity? Yes. Yeah, scarcity. I actually removed everything with scarcity because too much people are using it, and it's kind of like if you split test it with the performance on the time and conversion rate, it doesn't affect too much. It actually went up for us, but do make sure you test. Actually, I like websites that loads really quickly. So like, you know, we removed it and the time actually went down. So if you have like all these apps in place, it's going to add a lot of time to your conversion. Your website.
I would
display.
detailize my question. For example, in case of dog collars, some people promoted like 6 million dogs being killed on roads of US every year. And other people promoted like this collar would like really nice on your dog. What would you suggest? Scare them
like
or
fear-based, right? So
Yes.
yeah, like your dog's gonna die.
I personally don't like to use that. Like, I do see some people using it. I'm not sure how well it converts or performs, but if you're building a sustainable long-term brand, I would suggest you stay away from it. But if you're kind of like, you know, a small store that you're just gonna last for like 5-6 months, feel free to use that if it increases your performance or ROI.
And you mentioned about motivation timers. So
Yeah.
you have only 10 minutes to buy
Yeah,
it.
I
It's
removed
better
that.
to remove.
Yeah, I removed that because I feel it's a little bit scammy, and it's fake. Yeah.
How do discounts? Do you like when you remarket? Do you ever use like discounts where you remarket to someone and you say, okay, now it's 15% off? Do you play around with that?
Yeah, I retarget the crap out of them until they buy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And do you scale the price down?
Yeah, we do. We
Yeah.
try with 5%. Then after, if they don't buy, we increase it to 10%, up to the maximum that we were comfortable with.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Within your margin. Anyone else out there? Oh, right here.
Hey guys, great presentation. I want to ask you what's your input on branding product and fulfilling them directly instead of dropshipping?
Sorry, I can't really.
Yeah, you gotta
get
really
closer to the mic. Yeah.
I'd like to ask what is your input on branding product and fulfilling them instead of dropshipping them?
Fulfillment time, is it?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. If you fulfill from the US, obviously it's going to be way faster. Which, if you can actually, if you want to go the branding route, you could send your stock to like a 3PL company in the US, or you can send it to Amazon, fulfilled by Amazon. Or if I would suggest, if you're just starting out, do drop shipping all the way from China. But if you're going to do a sustainable long brand, probably you have to do it in the US, and eventually you're going to have regional warehouses all over. Like the main few ones would be Europe, US, and Asia. So we have warehouse in Hong Kong as well that takes care of the APAC region, and from China it takes care to the other countries, sometimes US, and sometimes US we do have local US warehouses if that product is very popular. But you have to make sure that that product is something that's gonna be trending for a long time. So one of the mistakes that we did, it was like, it kind of scaled pretty quickly, but eventually it kind of died, but we have like over 100,000 stock in the US because no one's buying after the whole trend dies. So you have to be a little bit more careful with like stocking a lot of inventory if you're branding your own product.
Nice.
Thank you.
Hey, no worries.
We have a celebrity question here from She-Commerce founder Morella.
Oh, good. Okay, so you guys talked about how you let Facebook do a lot of the automation for you, but with using the rules and everything. With regards to ad placement, do you use automatic replacements, or do you isolate them in ad sets to retarget them, say mobile on desktop later, and vice versa? How do you deal with ad placements?
All right, for our ad placement, normally we tend to split test a lot of them. We tend to actually mostly mobile and desktop feeds, and we split test them with another one with the audience network that Facebook has, and also we do split test. We actually split everything as well in Instagram. So actually, by splitting all of this, it's very clear that we are able to see which ad set works, perform the best.
Yeah.
But usually you'll get like lower CPMs if you don't split them. So Facebook actually kind of like recommends that we put it all placements, but we kind of have better performance if we split them up. Yeah.
Nice. So you guys have expanded. How big is your team now total?
60 plus. Yeah.
60 plus.
Yeah.
And that's over in multiple regions, or?
Yeah,
almost 100% virtual. Only
in the
only the
Philippines,
China. Yeah.
in the Philippines and in China as well.
Oh, cool. So
So-
who do you consider, what position, let's say, do you consider sort of the most essential to your business other than you two?
Project and right-hand man.
Yeah.
Project
Yeah,
manager.
project manager.
Oh, we define it as project manager or product manager. Kind of, it's the same kind of the same role.
Yep.
So like in startups, like kind of the product manager has a lot of authority in the company. This dictates where the company is going. So we kind of use it a little bit to like in our company. So we call it as the project manager that actually manage the whole things. And he has a few like managers under him to report to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this guy only reports directly to us, no one else.
And how did you go about finding that person then? Like, what was your, did you go, like, did you meet them in person? Did you go to like an Upwork type site? Like, how did you make sure, because if there's such a key person, how did you make sure they were right?
I think, we are really, you have to pay a lot for this kind of people, obviously, right? If you pay crap, you get crap in return, right?
Yep.
So this guy actually worked for one of my startups before. So I kind of knew his personality,
Yep.
how he's a hustler, he has to work like all this. So kind of if you're gonna find someone random in the, I wouldn't hire someone that's like super top tier executive level because like he's not the guy that actually does all
need
the
a
execution.
grinder, yeah.
Yeah. So you need someone that's kind of like one level below the executive so that he can do all this execution work for you. Yeah.
That makes sense. I think we've got a question here.
I just wanted to know, how many products are you testing on a weekly basis?
So on a daily basis, we tend to test at least 10 products.
Wow.
So a lot of all this process has been automated by our team. So what we do, like as we mentioned just now, we set up the process right from the research team, right? So let's say a product team, the research team will search to at least 30, 40 products every single day, and we'll have our right-hand man who vets through all of the products, and then let's say 10 products each day, he'll set a date for each green light, he'll give the green light for them to launch it the next day or on the day after, and then our media buying team will take over from there, and then the video editing, there will be video editing, editing the videos, the photos, the thumbnails, and then it will be handed over to the media buying team where they'll do get also copywriting done for them, and then straight away they'll start doing the ads, split test. So some of our media buyers, we actually flew them over to us. We train them personally, so they actually know a lot of the strategies that we use. So they will be in charge of actually doing most of the media buying. And then after that, for the final like scaling, where it's really scaling, let's say we find a really, really good product, then I actually come over and actually personally handle the large products where it's scaling above 100,000 a day. Yeah.
And so at what point, I mean, essentially, when you're scaling the product, do you actually ship it to yourself to start doing like all the marketing assets so you're not using it from AliExpress or whatnot, the imagery? Like at what point do you determine when is a good time to actually ship it to yourself?
All right, so at the start, we always, it's still a drop shipping business, but because at a large scale, like what we're doing right now, we actually have our own warehouse in China. So actually, what we feel is a good practice is after like 2 days or 3 days, if it's starting to selling above 100 piece a day, we'll start like buying in bulk, like buying maybe, let's say we're selling 500 a day, we'll buy around 700 a day. So everything will be shipped to our logistics partner in China. So it's like more of a lean approach. So we rather let, because of what Steve mentioned, we had a mistake where we overstocked too much. So we actually just, just overstock by a little bit where you're guaranteed to sell it the next day.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Just specifically though, for people starting out in e-commerce, how important is it to actually get your hands on the product physically before you start selling it, so that you could potentially make assets about it?
That's a very tough question because there's different ways of actually doing the business, right? Some people prefer to see and feel the product. Some people like only care about the ROI. Some people only care about like making money. So it really boils down to the entrepreneur himself.
Yeah.
If he cares a lot about the customer, definitely he will go through the, you want to make sure that he sees the product, feel for it, whether the product is good quality. So for us, because we have a team in China, so it makes it much easier for us to buy samples. So, and you can get away with like, having a physical presence, and you can request samples from these big suppliers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
because you come in as
you can say like, we're looking to buy 10,000 units. Can you give us some samples? Usually we'll get it for free. So we use the free ones and sell it to drop shipping. You get some all this, get the ball rolling. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Any, we got a question over here.
Hi guys, thanks for the presentation, very good.
Thank you.
I got a question. I live in China, so I know like how powerful Taobao is. But my question is, compared to AliExpress, where most of the store in AliExpress is pretty much equipped to ship internationally, but as we all know, like Taobao is pretty much like a local business type of app or stores, or so in terms of finding a product, after you found a product that you think it's going to work from Taobao, how do you like handle the shipping? Like do they talk to the supplier? Do they like have
Yeah,
that
so
option for
actually you can, for us, we have our own warehouse and logistics, right? So instead of setting up something for yourself, there's a lot of 3PL, fulfillment and logistics company that you can work with. So once you test that product, it works well, you can ship it in bulk to this fulfillment company, and he'll take care of everything for you. So something like an FBA kind of setup, but in China. So like you send all orders to them every single day, and they'll take care of all the shipping for you.
So the supplier doesn't handle the shipping?
No. So
Okay.
everything that we do is all coming out from our own warehouse. We do it for more control and more kind of privacy kind of approach, because like with sufficient cash bribe in China, you get a lot of unwanted information that you don't want your competitors to know. So we kind of have everything in-house for our logistics and our procurement, so that we don't get unwanted information out as well. And also, if you ship everything in-house, you get very, very good shipping rates, and you get first-tier e-packet rates as well.
But I think that's after your business is pretty much settled or
Yeah, so
like,
I mean, if you're
but what
initially
about
just
in the
starting
very-
out,
Sorry, what about in the very initial phase after you target, like after you found the product and it's joined the testing phase?
if you're just starting out, probably you can just talk to your Taobao supplier, because like they do have access to all. It's just a matter of whether they want or don't want your business, or is it a lot of hassle for them to do it for you. But I'm sure you can easily find a lot of like fulfillment company in China that's willing to help you get started with all this. So once you find this product well, you can order on Taobao and have it shipped to the fulfillment company, and they'll take care of the shipping for you.
Okay, thank you
Also,
very much.
another thing like I would like to add on is like we mostly use Taobao as a reference point, right? Because a lot of things that's actually available on Taobao is not listed on AliExpress yet. So actually, by doing so, we use actually mostly as a reference point on Taobao, and then we actually have our own procurement team. So at the same time, you find a lot of agents or trading companies at AliExpress. So you are able to actually go to AliExpress, send him the Taobao link, say, hey, I want this to be dropship. So normally they will get it handled for you. So this is when it's starting out for beginners, this is how you do it.
Thank you very much.
How do you handle customer service and returns?
Customer service. Oh, customer service?
And returns.
And returns. So for customer service, we actually have a full-fledged team in the Philippines of at least 20 to 30 customer service replying every day. We also have actually a 24/7 live chat service where actually a lot of customers always send in requests to ask about refunds, returns. For returns, it's simply it's as simple as that. Like, I mean, when a customer receives, if he's able to provide proof that the item is spoiled, like destroyed, or he didn't receive it, like the tracking shows it actually got lost, then we will actually just send him a new one. Okay, we'll talk to him. Communication is really important here. So we actually communicate with the customer and ask him, do you want actually a replacement? If he's willing to actually accept a replacement, we'll just ship him a new one. If he's unwilling, then we'll give him the refund.
But for returns, we'll usually just tell them to ship it back to China. And like, I know it's not the best exact customer service that you want, but most of the time they'll just think it's a hassle. And if they really want to ship it, it's fine. We'll just refund them the full amount.
Nice. Another one over here.
So yeah, thanks for the great talk. So during the initial research phase, when you are testing out new niches, so when do you decide that it's time that this particular niche is not working out? How much do you usually spend on Facebook, or give it like a number of days before deciding that this is something that you don't want to pursue further?
Yes.
So actually, like Steve has mentioned just now, like we actually have general stores where you just throw everything in there, to test it. So actually, normally when we really actually decide to turn it off is after doing all of our a lot of the testing methods. One is the interest targeting that we touched base on just now. We actually have other testing methods as well. So if we use all our strategies and test it with different copies, different video, different thumbnails, and it still doesn't work, it's negative, not profitable at the end of the day, after like 3 days or 7 days, then we decide that this product doesn't work and we'll move on to the next product.
Do you actually take them off your store, or do you just stop promoting?
No, we just stop promoting.
We'll still put it there because like,
there's no reason, I guess,
it's
right?
free
There's
money, right? So
there's no shelf space you're taking up in the digital environment.
Like we used to have like a lot of products, like someone like just comes to the store and he actually sees one item that he likes, and he just, he just adds on to your AOV, he just, hey, I like this as well. He just add it to the cart.
Yeah.
So it's just free money. Just leave it on the store, but just stop promotion for that.
Okay, thanks.
Nice. Do we have someone else maneuvering up here for a question?
Hey guys, first of all, thank you for the presentation.
Really speak up.
Yeah, so you have talked a little bit about how to hire a manager. I would like to know more about how to hire a media buying team. So I guess a lot of business owners here are afraid of giving up that part because they think that this is a very sensitive part of their business, so they like to handle it by their own. So I would like to know more about this matter, please.
I usually prefer to hire someone with just basic media buying knowledge, because like those that have really good media buying skills, they cost a bomb, and usually like there's very good reasons why they left the company and joined you, right? So usually we'll try to find someone with kind of basic Google ads, they have some internet marketing knowledge. We'll usually hire them and guide them through step by step. So initially, these people that comes into the company, they'll be guided by senior media buyers, right? So they'll start with like very small budgets, doing small things like testing, research, like interest research, so on and so forth. Then slowly you guide them up step by step. I mean, like it's all about the skill that you want to do, right? I mean, I kind of like traveling a lot and also traveling across the world. I still like my lifestyle. I like to, hands-free my business. I haven't checked my ads for a long time. I prefer to set up a team with more automation that can do all this stuff for you. So if you kind of like prefer a small team in-house, then probably you can like just have one person helping you. But if you want like kind of like more hands-free, then you have to have people, because if you don't share, you can't scale, right? So I mean, Google or Facebook can't get to where they are today if they don't like share their like insider stuff between their own teams, right? So probably the question for you is like, if you have a virtual team, then probably how you could structure it in a way whereby all the media buyers kind of like don't know each other, so they kind of can't exchange information, or kind of like, usually I don't like one person that knows every single inside out for your business, because like if they can do that, right, they can do it for themselves. And they can actually use your company for testing products, and when they find the hot selling products, they can just do it at their own Shopify store at night. So that's what kind of happened to one of my friends in China, because he's just starting out. He doesn't have a lot of business sense, but he's doing like 10, 20,000 per day. It was like, when I was talking to him, he shared with me his business model. I said, dude, trust me, these two guys that you have right now, they'll leave your company within 6 months. And like I'm right when I talk about okay, they're gone, right? I mean like they are using the company for kind of like testing all these products. So kind of find a little bit more time in structuring your company in a way that if you don't like sharing all this information, so that like if one person leaves, everything is still intact.
Compartmentalization.
Yes,
That makes sense.
So even for our websites, website A, customer support doesn't know website B customer support, so on and so forth. So in the event, like if they want to do some funny tricks to us, right, they don't have all this because like, I mean, all you guys are hiring, almost everyone's hiring from the same location, Upwork or whichever online jobs PH. So sometimes when someone leaves, we will ask, okay, which store did you manage or who do you work for? And easily a lot of information just comes out like naturally, right? So try to kind of like be a little bit more sensitive about all this information.
Thank you.
Hey, no worries.
Nice. We got someone waiting here.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. And this is our first year in e-commerce, and we have a website, and we only accept PayPal payment. And we found that when the order increases, and there comes the fraud payment, like unauthorized payments. And so here's my questions. And we don't have a affiliate marketing method yet, so we wonder why, and we'd like to know how do you deal with this kind of fraud payment? Do you have any kind of this issue?
For us, it's very simple. If it's high risk from Stripe or like inside Shopify dashboard, it shows you if it's high risk, we'll just refund it. We don't even last time we used to ask for more information, but usually if you want more information, you have to ask for their ID, government ID, front and back credit card, cover the center, 10 digits or whichever digits, then ask them to send it over back to you. But if you're dealing with very high level scammers, then they have all this information with them anyway. So for our team right now, we'll just refund all the high risk orders. And especially there's a few countries that we don't ship to, I don't know where, like Vietnam, Indonesia, those very high fraud countries. You can just Google high fraud countries and it's there.
So do you mean that your practice is just to ask them for the full information to attach it on PayPal dispute interface, and then you just refund them?
I mean, PayPal is very good at helping you with protection. So if you provide all the shipping information, they usually have you covered.
But we heard that even you refund the payment, the PayPal will also count this order into your dispute rate, and once the rate is raised to let's say 1%, you'll face some risk in your payment account. Right?
That's part of the business. You have to deal with it. There's nothing a way around this.
There's no magic solution.
Okay, thank you very much.
No
okay, guys, I think that's it. Our time is up, unfortunately. You're going to have to find them after. Or you're going to, well, I guess we're out of tickets for Facebook Mastery Live, but make sure you grab the live stream for Facebook Mastery Live, the recordings. And we still have day passes for day 1 of the Facebook Elite Retreat, where the Tan brothers are going to be giving away some amazing value there. So go find myself at the booth or someone at the iStack training booth, and we can hook you up with our day passes to the Elite Retreat. Let's give the Tan brothers a big round of applause. That was amazing.